Welcome back to Clearcut. President Trump slamming sanctuary cities while hosting a roundtable discussion about California's policies. The president highlighting the dangers of illegal immigrants who are caught and then released back into communities, some convicted criminals, and stressing the importance of a border wall.
The state of California's attempts to nullify federal law have sparked a rebellion by patriotic citizens who want their families protected and their borders secured. They want border security. They want protection. That's what we're all about. We're about protection, both from international and from, frankly, people crossing a border illegally.
All right, let's go to our senior national correspondent, Michael Shore. Michael, first, to give us the highlights from today's meeting at the White House. What was the goal here?
Well, the goal here was for the president to respond to the fact that there are so many of these cities here in California who are saying that they do not want to be a part of the sanctuary city law that California has put in place, that they will join the lawsuit that's going to happen here in California. That it's going to be heard in front of the Sacramento court. And what the problem that some of these lawmakers have is they're not getting all of the support of their communities, but when they're seen with the president, it makes it work out very well. Though today, of course, rhetoric that we've come to be accustomed to from Donald Trump, he cited that some of these people are animals. And when you are representing cities and areas around the state of California, and you hear the president say that immigrants are animals, now of course he was not saying all of them are. He's saying the ones that have committed crimes here. It's very difficult to come back to your municipalities and say that you agree with the president there, Michelle.
Right. Michael, meanwhile, California is not the only state battling over sanctuary cities. Where else are there major fights over this issue?
Well, there was a big fight in the Seventh Circuit, particularly around Chicago, and Chicago saw the results of the Seventh Circuit ruling about a month ago that sided with them and against the Justice Department. You're also seeing it in Tennessee right now. The governor of Tennessee, Bill Haslam, has before him a bill that he's being urged to veto that would put into effect some sanctuary city laws there. And then on the other side of the country in Nevada, Nevada is grappling with the same thing right now that California is, but really all of the states are waiting to see what happens in California. There's more money in California to challenge these laws, and because of that, they're going to look at California to see whether or not they proceed legislatively and through the judicial system on these cases. If the Justice Department becomes emboldened and Jeff Sessions says, hey, let's do this in other states, then according to a successful California trip, then it becomes a little bit different.
All right, Michael, thank you so much. Michael Shore there. All right, for more on sanctuary cities, we're joined by Tom Borelli, a contributor for the Conservative Review, and David Morey, a Democratic strategist and co-author of the book, Creating Business Magic. Gentlemen, good to have you with us. David, President Trump saying... Hi, David. President Trump saying that some of the immigrants in sanctuary cities are animals, referring to those with criminal records. What's your response to that?
Well, I think that's rhetoric versus reality. I think we have too much polarization here, not enough problem solving. Illegal immigration has gone dramatically down under President Obama, President Bush before that, and under President Trump. Then it went kicked up again, and he was unhappy with that, expressing that in his cabinet with the Secretary of Homeland Security, who reportedly threatened to quit. I think we have to get past these bloody midterms, past polarization. Tom's going to blame the Democrats. I'm going to blame everyone. Democrats, Republicans, Congress, the administration. Everyone's failing, and this is going to get abrogated to the courts and to the states where it's not going to really be a great outcome. California has a strong majority of pro-immigration people in the population. This administration has done very badly in California in the court system on immigration issues there. So, abrogating this and not finding a bipartisan bill that someone like McCain or Graham from the Republican side would support is a big mistake for our country.
All right, well, we're going to let Tom speak for himself there. Tom, but let's focus on the president's choice of words here, because that's problematic in the way that this issue is perceived, calling illegal immigrants, referring to the criminals, animals. Is that fair?
I think when he's talking about criminal illegal aliens, and my friend David in Washington tried to artfully change it from criminally illegal aliens to general immigration. What the conference today was about, the roundtable, was about dealing with criminal illegal aliens. This is a public safety issue. You have criminals who are behind bars and they can't call national federal enforcement agents, ICE, to bring them and get them out of the country. So this is a serious, serious issue. You have to read the press releases from ICE really to get the flavor of what's going on here. There are people who are convicted felons. There are sexual predators. There are rapists. These are the individuals that President Trump calls animals, and I think that does fit those people.
Well, David, remember that Oakland raid earlier this year where the mayor warned the community ahead of the ICE raid? Even with that warning, 150 arrests, half of those illegal immigrants had criminal convictions. So the issue is we have sanctuary cities. Someone can come and enter the U.S. illegally, commit a crime, serve time in prison, and then be released into the general population as a free agent, regardless of the fact that they entered the country illegally. Then the concern is that they can go on to commit other crimes without risk of deportation if they're in a sanctuary city. So shouldn't, at the very least, illegal aliens that have committed a crime be deported as a top priority?
Yes. I'm going to agree with Tom on that. And listen, if they're criminals, they should be, I don't know if we're going to call them animals, but we'll call them criminals. They should be prosecuted. And this is where the laws have all kinds of loopholes. We haven't done anything on immigration since Reagan. Remember, back in '86? We've got to find some bipartisan solution after these bloody midterms and get to some solutions. You're absolutely right. A lot of what California does, some of it bothers me because I work for Department of Homeland Security as an advisor. I don't like them not cooperating with law enforcement officers. I don't like some of the sanctuary city realities that this is putting forward. But people have gotten scared with all the rhetoric, with all the polarization that everyone's throwing at this issue. And so now you have a very, it's not going to get better by the states adjudicating it or the courts.
Tom, the argument is made that with sanctuary cities, it makes the community safer because illegal immigrants then don't feel afraid to go to the police and report on other crimes that they're seeing. What do you say to that?
I've certainly heard that theory and that argument. That's really the only argument they really have, because you need to look at it. This is a really twisted priority. You have largely Democrats, my friend David, largely Democrats really agree with this sanctuary city policy that protects criminal illegal aliens. I think even the other illegals who are here would be happy to have the criminals off the streets. So I don't, necessarily buy into that argument. I think it's really important that we really get a handle on this issue. And to David's point, this shouldn't be a political issue. If you're a criminal, you should be behind bars or out of the country.
Well, David, the U.S. can be both a country of legal immigrants and a country of laws. The concern is if action isn't taken against illegal immigrants, you don't enforce the law, then this just encourages more illegal immigration. So I hear that you're saying there does need to be some kind of solution, but where do you draw the line? Where is the distinction about letting someone come into the country and not letting someone come into the country?
Well, we have to enforce our laws. We have to protect our borders. We have to take one of the bipartisan bills that the administration threatened to veto last time around. You have Donald Trump sort of in some way supporting the Dreamers and appearing to be open. He was a Democrat up until about 5 or 6 years ago, appearing to be open on the immigration issue versus Steve Miller, a sort of right-wing kind of more ideological person when it comes to this issue. Listen, we have to, what are you going to do with 11 million illegal immigrants in this country? I don't know anyone who realistically thinks we're going to yank them out of their beds and get them out of here. That's why we need a law to work this out.
Does that then encourage more illegal immigration if you don't yank them out? And I'm not saying that that's the solution, but does keeping them here and granting sanctuary not just encourage more illegal immigration?
It could. That's why we have to deal with the issue. But remember, this thing has gone dramatically down. You look at the graph from Bush to Obama and then way down under Trump, then back up a little bit. I mean, this thing is a 10-year trajectory of taking illegal immigration way, way, way down. So, it's not like we have a flood of illegal immigrants coming into the country. The rhetoric would sort of would have you think that. That's not really the reality. No, I think it does send the wrong message. And I think that's why we need some solutions here, not polarization.
Well, I am seeing some hope because there is some overlap between a Democratic strategist and a conservative. So I'm very hopeful. Gentlemen,
Tom, let's go solve the issue.
Let's go solve for a drink next time in Washington.
Perhaps that's what we needed, level-headed people such as yourself. Tom Borelli, thank you so much. And David Morey, we really appreciate it. All right, stick around.